Today we're going to be talking about shrinkflation. Once again, it is November 29th, 2024, Black Friday. So this is the Black Friday edition, and as such, it's going to actually be shorter this time. I'm not going to ramble for 30 minutes. I just have a few that I'm going to focus on because there really wasn't too much this week because, most of the retailers are in the business of doing sales right now, and everybody's kind of focused on that. And so most people aren't going to be posting on Reddit about shrinkflation as much. Maybe next week will be a little busier, but hopefully not, actually. Now that I think about it, like, I guess it would be better if there's less shrinkflation, but then there's less to talk about. But yeah, let's do this quickly. Holiday, Black Friday. I'm going to actually do a quick video this time. And by quick, I mean not 30 minutes. Hopefully under 20 minutes, maybe under 10 if I stop talking. So let's start with something of a mystery because this isn't exactly shrinkflation. These products are the same weight. The interesting thing is just that the new ones are not 100% Colombian, they're just Colombian. Now, this guy didn't take a picture of the ingredients, so I don't know exactly what changed, but something definitely did change here, or they wouldn't have changed the packaging from 100% Colombian to Colombian. There's a reason they did that. I don't know exactly how the recipe changed or what happened here exactly. But if you're somebody who gets Dunkin' Colombian coffee, I guess it might be slightly different. Now, here we have another classic example of shrinkflation from your friends of mine at Dove. Dove dark chocolate, just straight up, little dark chocolate squares that a lot of people like. Again, but you shouldn't eat dark chocolate, with the lead and everything. You could check the lead video out if you want to learn about that. But this is a good standard case. They went from 8.46 ounces to 7.61 ounces. Changed the packaging a little bit, but the price stayed the same, not to worry, as this guy says. So, yeah, this is just standard shrinkflation and proof that you should not buy Dove dark chocolate, even though you shouldn't have been buying it. Shouldn't have been buying it anyways. Switch to a different brand if you still want dark chocolate. Just fuck them. Next, we have a good example from the UK. This is not a US option, but it's good to know that the shrinkflation is happening everywhere. And by good to know, again, I mean, it's not great to know, but we're going to use the vernacular. Good to know that we're all in this together when it comes to shrinkflation. This lime marmalade, which I kind of want to try. I don't think you can get this in the U.S. I googled it. I'd have to like pay a lot of money to get this in the U.S. I like the idea of it though, lime marmalade. That sounds nice, but shrunken bottle, which is terrible. So let's move on. Again, we're back to K cups, coffee cups. This one is very clear. Everybody, and there's a lot of people in the comments who are like, yeah, obviously they went from 12 to 10. This has happened before to a lot of other brands, blah, blah, blah. But it is pretty noticeable when it's something like K Cups, which has like a standard box size, which I don't buy K Cups, but I'm familiar with them because I used to stock them. Um, they have a standard box size between like all the manufacturers pretty much use the same kind of like size box with the same size K cups because they're standard size. So why, only I don't think there's anybody that really uses a different size box in that space. Maybe there is like one or two companies, but most of them are pretty standard. So when they switch to 10, it's very clear you can tell that it's the same box just with two missing, and that it could easily fit 12, and it was designed and made to fit 12, but they're just putting two less in it, which, is very obvious, but saves them money by not having to redesign the box. And that's the important part, is that the company saves money. Face wash here. Again, don't know much about it, but we have Elixir hold on. Cosmeceuticals? Cosmeceuticals. I don't think I've ever seen that word in my life. We have Elixir, Cosmeceuticals, Advanced Cleaner, Face Cleaner, blah, blah, blah. I know this stuff is expensive. I don't generally buy a face wash myself, but I know a lot of people do. And to go from 200 to 150 with the new formula is pretty ridiculous. Like, I think a 25% drop is not even. I mean, when you think of shrinkflation, the idea is supposed to be that they cut it a little bit, like 5 or 10%, like the Dove chocolate that went from 8.6 to 7.8 or whatever ounces. so that you don't notice. This one they cut from 25%, but you still might not even notice because the package, while smaller, is only, I wouldn't say 25% smaller. I'd say it's like 10%, 15% smaller. And when it comes to these kind of products, you might not really notice the difference because they're almost identical outside of the tallness. But this person did notice a difference, and shout out to Elixir Cosmeceuticals for being scumbags. Let's move on to chips. This is just kind of a standard picture. This is not really a new example, but 7.29 is the printed size on a party size bag of Ruffles, which is 13 ounces now. Which this comment made me laugh. 13 ounces is the smallest party ever. Yes, party size does not mean what it used to mean. I feel like maybe I'm, an old man, but I feel like party size bags, one, used to be bigger, and two, used to be cheaper, of course. But we've lost the distinction of party size, I feel like, because 13 ounces is definitely not a party. That's like a standard bag of chips, like, in my mind. I am fat, of course, but this is, how we've been conditioned as a society, and this is what we expect. And when you see 13 ounces on a bag of chips, that's not king size or party size or whatever. It's just standard size in the US as far as chips have gone for decades. So it's kind of insane how far we've fallen that 13 ounces is considered party size, first of all. And second of all, that the printed price is $7.29, even though, probably didn't pay $7.29 for it, but, you probably will be paying $6 for it, or $6.50 or something like that at a grocery store. Or maybe you do pay $7.29 because you're at a convenience store, 7-Eleven, and you're just trying to pick up a bag of Ruffles because you're going to, for example, a Thanksgiving party or something, and so they asked you to pick up a bag of chips for the dip because they forgot to buy chips. And you go to 7-Eleven and you say, hey, I want some Ruffles. They're $7.29 for a 13-ounce bag, and that's not enough for a party. You're going to have to get more than one, and then you're paying $14, $15 for two kind of small bags of chips, which is insane. So yes, this is ridiculous, even though obviously most people don't pay the printed price that's on the bag generally. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you're in a situation where they do charge that, and it's horrible. Another, I think this is a UK, oh, I'm sorry, this is a product of Canada. Royale face tissues, just standard tissues. You're sick, you need a 3-ply tissue. Going from 88 facial tissues down to 72, because why not? I guess people won't notice. I mean, they did change the packaging. It's only slightly smaller, though, but it also looks like it might be smaller this way. I don't know. You'd have to stack them up to each other. But yeah, let's see. These say 20.6 by 20.2, and these are 21.5 by 19.3. So you'd have to do some real math there. That's 0.9, 20.2 to this is 0.9. I think they're the same math-wise if you do the math there. I don't know. But anyways, there's 16 less sheets. That's the important part. And now we're going to get to Simply Cheetos, or more importantly, just small bags that come in these multi-packs that people buy to pack lunches. Now, when I was a kid, this was huge. When I don't know when they came out with these fun size bags, but they were a huge part of my childhood in the 90s, early 2000s. They were everywhere. You'd bring them to Little League games or whatever, any kind of kids sporting event, any kind of kids event at all, parties, anywhere where you'd have to feed multiple children. This is the option. And of course, for parents who want to pack lunches, this was a good option. Now it's so small. It's insane to me. They went from 1 ounce down to 7/8 of an ounce. They are now under 1 ounce per bag of these small little bags of chips, to the point where it's not even really worth serving, it feels like. That's where we've reached. We've reached the part where there's under an ounce of chips in here. So who is this for? Not even a young child, elementary schooler, pulling this out for their lunch is going to be satisfied by 7/8 of an ounce of chips. It's just not a serving size for anybody at all. And it's ridiculous. Why even bother? Yes, this is just trash. This is just bullshit. They're just wasting, and I don't want to get too into the environment thing, but because I am a person who likes convenient packaging and I don't want to be too much of a hypocrite. But to do a little package, these packages are so small, like there's no point anymore. Like if they're 2 ounces, 1.5 ounces, maybe, you can see the point of it. It's like a serving size, but now it's less than a serving for like a small child, uh, per bag that is individually printed plastic or whatever the fuck this is. So yeah, that sucks. And we have here the last one is just kind of a funny thing. This is the last real example of shrinkflation, but this is a solid example and one that greatly frustrates me personally, not because of the shrinkflation, that is a part of it, but because they changed the art style on the bottle. And that pisses me off because La Victoria is the salsa of my household. It has been a staple in my household for a long time because my dad loves this stuff on tacos. So we always have it in our kitchen. I use it from time to time. It's not my favorite, but I like it. It's always, always, always in our fridge though, and I remember this packaging, from childhood. It's very classic packaging, and the fact that they changed it to add like a freaking food truck and a palm tree does kind of piss me off because the old packaging was perfect. It was classic, in my opinion, and they really didn't need to do that. But I guess the reason that they did that is to cover up for the fact that they're dropping from 16 ounces to 15.5 ounces, even though this is a blurry picture. I guess that tactic works. I'd be curious to see or hear from somebody who's an expert on this about the psychology behind changing the package design at the same time that you shrinkflate something, and what works better for people. Because you see companies do things like this where they shrink the product and change the packaging at the same time, but they don't really highlight it. It's just, hey, you just see the new packaging, and you might not notice that it's shrunk at all. Or they change the packaging and it's new formula, or like new look, same great taste, or whatever. They have some indication that it's new, and you might look a little closer then, but you still might not notice. And then you have just the shrinkflation where they just cut it a little bit and don't tell you. And I wonder which one is really the most effective. And I'm curious if changing the packaging at the same time is actually not beneficial for the company because it makes it for people more likely to look. Like if they hadn't changed the label to this atrocious California food truck label or whatever the fuck this is, would people have noticed that it went down to 15.5 instead of 16? Maybe not. Maybe. I'd be curious to learn the information behind that. But that's pretty much the end of this video. The last thing is just I wanted to highlight this Subway mini store playset because I love it and hate it at the same time. And I'm really not sure how I should feel about this, because I hate, the corporate infiltration of our entire society. I kind of hate the fact that this is a gift you can get for a kid as a Subway branded fucking register so that you can train your kids to work at Subway. I hate that fact. That part gives me a lot of existential dread, but at the same time, I also love it because I just have very nostalgic feelings of being a kid, playing with my own toy cash register, and I feel like if I was a kid, I would fucking love a Subway themed cash register because I was a fat little kid who loves fast food. So I don't know where to go with this. That's just the cap of this video. Let me know what you think, I guess, about this kind of branded product, and whether you like it or not, because again, I hate it and like it at the same time. I both recognize that it's a bunch of plastic shit trash and that it's sending a horrible message to everybody, but I also really, really, really kind of want to fuck with it and see what the working drink dispenser means and how good the speaker is and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm in my inner child, I'm embracing it, but my actual, adult brain is telling me, all the bad signals that this is sending. and I don't know where to land. So, yeah, let me know. That's that, and I will see you all next week.